Join us for a review of the Lexus LC 500. Let's go! In the front, the Lexus LC has this so-called Diablo front grille, this X shape, really aggressive, and also has this curve right here when you look at it from the side. Both Cabriolet and Coupe are pretty much the same as for the front. LED headlamps, and then they have this very distinctive daytime running light. We also have different colors here for you today, so different color choices, especially for the convertible, with mixed colors also for the roof. The length is at 4.77 meters, 15'6" or 188 inches. You can see here the roof line is really flat, so there's a new folding mechanism for this soft top roof. So it also folds very flat inside the trunk. That's why the trunk difference is not too big between convertible and the coupe. 4 layers, so it's also silent at high-speed driving, and it opens and closes in about 15 seconds and up to a speed of 50 kilometers an hour or 30 miles an hour. And the convertible has the design line which goes up here, and then there's like already the joining together right here, which is a little bit different with the coupe. But still, due to this very flat roof, the convertible does not look too different to the coupe. 20-inch wheels would be standard. These here are the optional 21-inch wheels. There's also a performance pack available that also includes a torsion differential in the rear, so sportier driving out of the corners, for example. Adaptive suspension is standard, and in this performance pack then you also get stiffer rear dampers. And these cars we show you today also include the performance package. Here the roofline is carried out further right here, and also with this chrome contrast. So which one is your design favorite, Cabriolet or the coupe? Also here with the 21-inch wheels, and in the black color, just a little bit more menacing. Here for the coupe you also have the hybrid engine that is not available for the Cabriolet, but here also the rear axle steering is available. And now to the rear, where Cabriolet and coupe look pretty much alike. Here the convertible, and you see the distinctive light signature right here, also really aggressive in the styling once again, but overall still fluent, also with its integrated wing right here. This is an exhaust tip which is pure fake. The real exhaust then is on the inside, at least the air goes through, but yeah, come on, give us the real deal, right? The rear of the coupe doesn't look too different, however the aerodynamics are a little bit different. So the convertible has a more straight area right here in the length, therefore has more downforce here on the rear, so the coupe has more the fluent design, and therefore we have this additional wing that can fold out. So guys, this one will be one of the very last moments, probably in our history also, where we show you a 5-liter V8 naturally aspirated engine with around 470 horsepower. A little bit less here in this update or now in the convertible because of a particle filter in the EU. Will be a little bit more than in the US. Acceleration figure to 1 kilometers or 62 miles an hour is about 5 seconds. The coupe would be 0.3 seconds faster than in this case, but already, enough power. Not like the most extraordinary acceleration figure because it's not turbocharged, but the naturally aspirated engines have a more, harmonious power output than in this case. And of course, classic concept, all rear-wheel driven. So you can enjoy also the driving part for today with the sound, of course, and also with this very classic engine concept. Test the seat right here, and indeed it's way softer from the seating area than if you would have the animal skin surface. and they hold you really tight. It doesn't feel like it would be most suitable for tall people, as for the flexibility you have, because it's really, really tight right here. Headroom wise, here in the coupe, comes really close already with 1.86 m or 6'1", but does work, of course. And here for the convertible, sadly, only animal skin are available as for the seating surfaces, so that's definitely a hit and miss. But the interesting thing is, here for the rear seats, this is the so-called Ecolux material. So that's a leatherette. So this is then animal-free. It also feels really high quality and very soft. So they can already do it. They just do not do it yet for the front seats. So it is available already. But you can see this is live transition, where half of the car is already a sustainable material and the half not. Let's see about the headroom difference right here. And when I put the seat here all the way down, once again, with 1.86 m or 6'1", yeah, it's almost the same that you have in the coupe. And there we go with the digital instruments. You can't adjust too much in there, just a little bit on the left side, predominantly, for example, for driving information. The middle part then with the big RPM meter and the digital speed. 10.3-inch screen, as I said, no touch. Mark 11 sound system here, option. And there we also have a nice surround sound. Wow, cool. Yeah. Open top at the moment, but also works very well with the open top. That's really nice. The Apple CarPlay integration is actually quite cool, but it's really unusual to control it not via touch. And wow, it's really tough. This map is quite old school, and how you can use this map inside from this central touch pad. Wow, it's really a pain in the automotive world. Now to the trunk comparison, this here being the coupe. Here we go. Well, for a car in general, really limited already. So when you put a backpack inside here, height-wise, you can see this is already limited. Let's just test that. Yeah, I have to squeeze it a little bit, but then it does actually work. And now to the convertible, 150 liters is left, and you can see the backpack squished a little bit, still works height-wise, but just the length, that's the one that you lose. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge with the Lexus LC 500, and we can put it in sports mode. A little bit wet road today, but still some acceleration for you here. Wow, that's 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour. Yeah, it was like the rear axle did react, so was some slip in the sports mode. Here, pressing that one goes to the normal mode, then the ESC, the electronic stability control, also rules that down a little bit more. But even though in the sports mode, it was not too aggressive. And the cool thing is, the acceleration here of this naturally aspirated engine is always more harmonious than this very explosive turbo acceleration. So that's also what I like about the naturally aspirated engines, that it's just a little bit more, somewhat more relaxing to drive, and also a very sovereign drive, as I always call it, because you have a lot of horsepower, have a lot of displacement, you don't need to use it, and again, it doesn't feel that explosive. It feels powerful, but not that extreme, and that's what I like about these power curves. The adaptive suspension, which is built in here, when you have the 21-inch wheels, then you do feel these uneven road parts, definitely. So if you want it more comfortable, then stick with the 20-inch wheels. Adaptive suspension here, in this case with the performance pack, with the stiffer dampers in the rear, and you do feel it in these bumps here, so you cannot exactly recommend the stiffer rear suspension there. Overview is, very limited here. To the rear, I can hardly see anything. To the sides is of course cool that we don't have a B-pillar, so you can see that to the sides. To the front, also somewhat limited. So for a convertible, I think a good noise insulation. And again, the active noise cancellation plays a role with that. Slalom-wise is really good. The steering is really precise. Look at that. So this feels then, smaller than the car actually is. The rear axle steering that is available with the coupe would do an even better job than in this case. Then the car would feel even smaller, or it would fake a shorter wheelbase in this case. Let's hit the throttle once more. Let's go back to about 50 kilometers an hour and push it through. Of course, in the convertible we can hear more of that sound. I told you, also comes from the sound actuator. Even though in the convertible we hear a little bit more from the exhaust, of course. If we are really gentle with the throttle, we can also put it in the sports mode, but again, it's a rear wheel driven car and the ESC is drawn back in the sports mode a little bit, so really have to be gentle. But again, the V8 naturally aspirated engine gives us a better controlled feeling. So with a turbo here, we would probably have a little bit too much power, too explosive power on the rear axle. But here with the NA V8, it's a little bit better and gives us more a harmonious driving fun here on these exact roads. The wind deflector is doing a good job, so we can also drive open now at 100 kilometers or 60 miles an hour. So that's pretty nice actually. So not too much wind turbulence is coming here in the interior. Also you can see it, you know, when you look at my hair. So as for the aerodynamics and so on, this is very well done. So I would say you can use it as an all-season convertible. And now to our conclusion for today with the Lexus LC. We've shown the coupe and the convertible, and we did have a lot of fun definitely with this very exquisite vehicle, even though the weather didn't play the part today. Yeah, the Lexus agrees definitely. So I hope you enjoyed the small comparison. Here, since the convertible is a little bit newer, more driving focus than this one. But of course, they drive pretty much the same. The only difference is that you can also have the rear axle steering for the coupe. This will improve the drive even further and also reduce the turning circles, so I can recommend that. Also, another advantage for the coupe is that you have a little bit longer trunk there, and also that you can get the microfiber inside of the seats for the coupe. That is, you know, actually three striking advantages for the coupe. The convertible, of course, that you can drive open top, and astonishingly, even all-season convertible, yeah, you see it, because the aerodynamics is actually really good, as also silent on the interior, even though when the top is down. So it's actually quite cool to drive it open top, really enjoy it, and even Autobahn proof, so you can drive also a little bit faster on the motorway. It is a design object with a striking exterior design, even more beautifully, of course, with the blue beige contrast. On the interior, the user interface is quite complicated. Everything, you know, from cubby holes to the infotainment system, which is really outdated, the control input for that, the visualization. So everything user interface wise is, you know, really not living up to the price of 100 to 120k dollars or euros. So that needs to be better. Comfort is quite okay, but should also be better for a car of that size, I think. And also for the convertible, animal skin alternatives are also missing then, but they also show that it's possible with designing this Ecolux rear seating area right there. And in general, you don't have basically any room in this car, although it's not a short one. But driving wise, really fun. Classic V8 5-liter naturally aspirated concept with a harmonious power output. That's actually quite cool. The driving we did today, of course, was more performance focused. Even though the road was wet, we had to be a little bit more careful then. But if you drive it a little bit calmer, you can also score some about 12 liters from 100 kilometers, which would be like 20 mpg somewhat, depending on, but only if you keep it a little bit calm. Here, like we drove today, there's those serpentine roads, and of course the consumption is higher or less mpg. I hope you really enjoyed our episode for today. It's always a hassle for us to film in the rain, but it looks so beautiful here on the cars when you have the raindrops right there. So good for you in your living room that you stay warm and safe. I wish you all the best. See you next time.